The first steps in the creative process in writing a score for a game like Too Human, I usually start by looking at the concept art. Anything from environments to characters, weapon classes, that sort of thing, just to give me an overall feel of the scene in the game. And I just go step by step with first writing very basic music sketches that are not the final product, but more or less what the theme and the feel of the track is. When we set out to do the orchestral recordings, that was a completely different situation. From the music that was written here, I then took those MIDI files and all of the sound files and the temp tracks and packaged those up and sent them off to the orchestrator, Stan Lepard, who then took all of my recordings and transcribed each one of them a layer at a time and got them to the session players that were in Prague at the time. We recorded with a 42-piece orchestra and a 32-piece choir. All of the choir was written first in English, that was loosely based off the Norse Edda. And we took those English words and found a translator that translated all of those words into Old Norse. And the end result is just this beautiful Old Norse sounding choir that was really unique. And just as important as the music content is the sound design content. And we got very involved in doing the sound design for Too Human. Many different levels of recording and different ways of handling just what would seemingly be a simple effect was a very elaborate process, and that's something that Roger was very involved with as well.
Early on in the project, Steve told me that he wanted to have all the mechanics of the enemies, such as the troll, the goblins. He didn't want to have the typical servo C3PO kind of sound, which kind of made it a little challenging because it's just something that the brain kind of just associates with robots. So we did a lot of Foley with just taking hinges, doors, pulleys, a lot of mechanical things around the house, just to try to get the sound of metal moving without necessarily an electrical kind of socket wrench kind of sound. This is kind of an example of what I was talking about. This was actually used for anything from armor movement to like weapon deploys. I think I used it in 2 where he pulls out his big plasma gun. Sound plays an important gameplay element too. If you can't necessarily see somebody on your screen, maybe they're behind you or whatever, you're definitely going to want to hear them shooting at you. There's a lot of times I'll be playing the game now and I'll hear missile screamings coming in, and there's a cue that there's going to be some assault goblins sneaking up on you somewhere.
The sound design works hand in hand with the music so that both coexist and share the same space, and we didn't want that to sound like one was made in one building and one was made in another. It was a very together sort of experience where we did the sound design and music at the same time so that they more or less meshed together stylistically.